Okay, welcome to the next chapter of the Middle-Aged Minecrafter, Chapter 7. Picking up where we left off, back at the home base, we have pretty much completed the exploratory quick tour of about, I guess, maybe half of the map, possibly slightly less. We have done all of the rail exploration that is northeast of the Yellow Point Junction, which we visited earlier. And so in order to continue the tour and the extensive rail lines, we're going to go into undocumented territory, at least documented around here, and we're going to begin traversing the great southwest yonder. But this is an important episode because since we've already been on this line, it is our first chance to use the time warp like this. And as you can see, we made it to Portishead, lickety-split, just like that. Hopefully that will make watching the series a little more palatable as we go ahead and turbo warp all the way down to the Yellow Junction point. Just like that. So that will hopefully be a acceptable trick, but we're not going to be speeding up this next journey because this will be the first time we have been down it, and so always need that first referential as we begin the long and tedious trek off to the Woodland Mansion. How many episodes will it take? Hard to say, so we should better get going. I believe the numbers of the rail lines, look at this puppy, built with smooth stone. The smooth stone count in my game must be 300,000. All the places I've put it and all the stuff I have, mind-boggling to think about. How much coal was that? Anyway, we're going to go down the 1900 all the way to 3200, and then it should be a mere 600 blocks or so before we come to the next village. There were so many villages, I attempted to give them a sort of alphabetical classification name series because this was such a major branch full of all these new villages to be named, and I wanted to kind of differentiate them from the one letter, trying to start all the villages with a different letter. Well, with all the villages on this route, I was going to run out of 26 letters in a big fat hurry. So I developed kind of a system where I name the villages. All the villages down here have two names. So instead of something like Devonshire, it's like Devonshire Dells or something like that. And that way I could sort of keep the alphabeticalness and kind of give an idea of its geographical location based on how far down the alphabet it was. An unnecessary system that's probably hard to keep consistent, but hey, again, that's just the way I try to do it. The first town we encounter is therefore called Alpha Centauri. And then the next town would be something that begins with an A, and then something that begins with, a D or an E or an F, etc. on down the line to the point where towns start beginning with D or G. There we go. We've made the corner for 3,200. And not much to see with the terrible rendering. Have not been down this way or loaded this part of the territory in a fair while, I guess. Not that long ago. Guess it just can't hold very much. Who knows if it's getting old or it's just got too much stuff clogging its memory and needs some kind of optimization. Perhaps the Sony Corporation is sending updates to slow it down to frustrate me into buying a PlayStation 5. I don't know. These days, it's hard to put a company past such behaviors. Anyway, as we ran the first time down to the Woodland Mansion, if we saw a town, we would run towards it to try to mark it and whatnot. And so, with that information in mind, when it came time to build the rail line, things were decided like 3,200, which was largely meant to go between, the towns weren't perfectly in a line. They were actually amazingly in a line, but still, one town would be a little bit north, one town would be a little bit south. Here's the first one. Let's just jump here real quick. This is the first stop. Alpha Centauri to the GL Green Line Junction, 2252. That's already 2,252 blocks that we just rode. And so here we go with the naming scheme. The next one is called Altuin. I'm not sure if I have my reference correct on that, but that's what it's called now. The next town we call Black Forest. You'll see when you get there. Very snowy region. 3,000 blocks away it is. And then this is C. Gordo, which is short for Cerro Gordo. And see how it begins with a C and whatnot. There was another town that began with a C, and the next one was an M, like, I don't know, Cerro Mongo. Then that would be the next one, etc. This doesn't have a direct traditional junction. You have to run a ways off. It's a very humble little town. I'm not even sure it's occupied. It's just sort of little tiny Podunkville out there, but it still gets a stop. It still gets a sign and an exit number and a whatnot. But there's really not much to see there. Cerro Gordo has a little more interest. It's a desert town, kind of built into a hillside. It's actually such high altitude, it comes up to the rail itself. And unintentionally, it just so happened that the rail line cuts, well, it's slightly intentionally, because that line is at negative 5,900 or negative 5,950, which was the best choice, even number, that went through the town. And this train line literally goes across the doorsteps of some of the village dwellings that the computer generated. what was the next one? Altoone. I believe I called it that because it's a desert town and it reminds me of Tatooine. I might have even called a desert town, Tatooine. I'm pretty sure I did. Who knows where that is, though? And if I stuck with it. Should have seen a pirate ship out there by somewhere now. At some point. Or maybe that might be down the 5950. The 5950 goes from this 3200 we're currently on all the way down to, I want to say, at least 8,000. What is that out there? It's interesting. I wonder what that could be. I did find something interesting one time. It was like a square structure built of natural materials, but sort of in an unnatural way. It's built with cobblestone and gravel and other things, and not by me. I believe it had treasure in it. So I'm always kind of on the lookout for weird constructed structures. Here's another one of those trap things I was talking about with the colored terracotta and the 4 chests and whatnot. I don't think I've run out there and busted that open. In fact, I think that's been generated in recent bonus juicing packs that they've been putting in here. Random pirate ships full of treasure just laying out there that weren't there before. Here we go. Coming up on Altoone, and we have a proper ramp system with your chest and whatnot table at the bottom, and a cat in a minecart. That's pretty cool. There are people who live there, and they're friendly and whatnot. No time to stop there now, as we are on our way to the Black Forest, another 1,600 blocks away or so, which puts us in a travel time of, 3.5 minutes before we get there? 3.5 more minutes of listening to me ramble on nonsensically just to fill up the time and space and volume of all this tedious rail riding as we ride off into the sunset. How profound. That's pretty cool. Just keep the camera pointed here for a while. What else is there to look at? Nothing's rendering. All the interesting stuff on the side. Oh look, ice. Big whoop. Everything out here looks like some sort of ice village or dwelling, practically. It's very deceptive. Come on, you can't even load blue water? Load the water. I'm running out of rail. I'm gonna fly off into space. It's turning into a 1980s computer video. Oh, I wish it rendered better. So sad. Oh wow. Reminds me I need to make a fresher backup of this game. Becoming increasingly paranoid. And you think you backed it up recently, you don't realize how much work you do. And if you were to go back and lose it, how frustrating that would be. I've had 1 or 2 instances where I felt that, and it wasn't all that bad, but it was bad enough having to do the same thing over again. Oh, dragging on tediously across blue nothingness. This is very unimpressive, isn't it? This looks like a game from 20 years ago. Why can't it keep up? Why does my PlayStation work so slowly? That's interesting down there. It's like magma blocks made to look like a structure, like it's a house. There's some other interesting glowing stuff down there in a hole in the seafloor. Probably goes into a drip cave. It's a nightmare to swim out. Alright. We're getting there. I promise. 5,950. Come on, let's go. Now that you've shown me where all the lava is hidden down there. I'm not interested in that. I want to move on to the next thing. I guess I should go ahead and point out some obnoxious, obvious things here at the old... We got here Black Forest, Cerro Gordo is $29.95, and then we have Dakota Heights at $38.41, and then Darby Landing. We're still in the D's, and we're going through villages like water. Oh my gosh, smooth stone. And here's back to where we were, Altoone and Alpha Centauri and the Green Line Junction, now 5,200 blocks away. We are just getting started. Look, I got some emeralds lying around in case I want them. Should put a roof on. Oh, smooth stone. I should put a roof on this building, huh? We'll get around to that someday. And then over here is something I'm going to build. Yes, this is going to... I have got to work this out. It's going to take quite a bit of engineering and construction. Basically, this is going to be the reverse yellow terracotta directional. You'll have a chance and an opportunity because you may notice what happens here as we run up to the top of this line. Look at this abandoned, lovely village. This is why I call it Black Forest. It's all stone and English Tudor looking European stuff. But see this obnoxious bit of engineering with the scaffolding dirt still there, making it look second rate? Oh, that needs to go too. It could be cleaner. But anyways, this is a big silly ramp way up in the sky, about as high as it goes, maybe not. But this line goes off and down to the Woodland Mansion, which is way down there. Now at first, when this was the only line, of course I came back this way. But when we ran back, we discovered a whole new slew of villages on the shortened path through here. So I carried the line from the Woodland Mansion a different route, which wiggles and snakes all through here and eventually puts you up here. Now this line here, we're at 3,200 now. This goes down like 5,000 blocks, at least that way before it turns right again. The traveling line that the Woodland Mansion is on is like 9,400. So we are 6,400 blocks north of the Woodland Mansion still. And we are 12,000 blocks east of the Woodland Mansion still, despite all that traveling. Just the tip of it. But what I'm trying to explain to you is when you take that train back from the Woodland Mansion, you come through here and it comes down this rail, which is calibrated and configured to throw you back on this rail and send you all the way back to the Yellow Line Junction, thus sort of doing a green line Bavaria station loop type of circuit situation. Now, if you didn't want to go this ridiculous long way to get to here, you would want to get back on this line and take it in reverse, which obviously with a structure like this is not possible. So what I'm going to configure, and it's already sort of laid out, the most critical pieces in there, it just needs to be fitted out the rest of the way. But starting down that stairwell that I showed you, there is a tunnel which will be filled out with rail that goes down to here along the underground to, at some point when this is well underground, it goes underneath and hooks to the right and throws you onto this rail as it goes down all the way into the earth, very, very deep, thus giving you a completed loop. You would just have to, instead of stay on this rail to continue on the long way, you'd have to get out of your minecart at this station and pick it up and then throw it on this rail and jump on that, and then you would just be automatically free and easy to reverse rail you all that way. But we're not going to go down that at this time, because this is the way we originally pioneered and foraged through this land, was this way. And I want to keep the chronological history in order somewhat, so we're going to not see this or experience it until we get back from our mini chapter journey to the Woodland Mansion. Now, I don't think there's any other villages until Cerro Gordo, which I believe is at 6,500, maybe 6,000, 6,200, something like that. Less than 3,000 blocks away, which, when you have a automatic rail line system that you can just sit and ride as fast as it can load, is not so bad, is it? Theoretically, at least by design, it takes how many minutes to ride 3,000 blocks? Roughly 6 or 7? That's enough time to run upstairs and get a snack, or restart the dryer, unload the dishwasher, run to the store for milk if it's a 20-minute ride. I mean, with all the switches open and no interferences, hiccups, or problems or seizures, this line is designed to get on and not stop till you get to the Woodland Mansion. And if it can do it, takes nearly an hour. It's an hour just wasted riding this train line. It's ridiculous to incorporate this into your Minecraft world and build a rail line all the way to it. I really should speed this up, because there's nothing to see. I don't think we even saw the pirate ship, because it didn't render. Maybe if I quit moving the camera around. But still, how disappointing is that? Oh, here's a huge rock formation just materialized out of nothing. Come on. Oh. Well, I know where the lava is down there. We hit a memory crash, I guess, or a memory wall, whatever's going wrong with this. It used to work better. All you PC gamers with your high power Raytheon cathode tube GPU cards. Absolutely. If you're not mocking me for my crummy, slow PlayStation, you're writhing in pain, trying to imagine how I live with it all. And I'm just content with this lame little thing, like a special child. Just leave him be. Leave him be to his little frivolous, inept, daft, flailing around. He's happy. Kind of. Except for when the rail disappears. Oh boy. Takes some of the magic and wonder out of it. Let me tell you what. It was a lot better when you could see the stuff. Three minutes before we get to Cerro Gordo. I'm just gonna sit here and complain and wish there was something to see. Something to show you. Something other than 4 pixels and a railway. Is it any better that way? No. How about over here? I mean, I might as well sort my inventory for all the good this is. Wow, I'm carrying more stuff than I thought I was. Okay. Alright. Hey, look, there's a guy standing there. Hey, buddy. Why are you just standing there? Yeah, come back to the village, you punk. Must have been left over from a recent past. You know, everything freezes when you leave the area. Is this gonna stop? Well, apparently it is. Okay, so here we are at Cerro Gordo. We definitely have to pick this up because that guy will somehow get down here and take it. That's how he ended up there in the first place. So you can see we have managed to make the signage. How far are things? Alpha Centauri is now 6,000 blocks away. So, yeah, that's 8,000 plus. Do we have any more towns? Davis and Dell. Look, that next one is only 846, and the next one's less than 200 after that, and then only 300. They start coming fast and furious. But this was a really neat one. I like how my rail goes right through. See, I told you. Basically, well, sort of at the front door here of this. But I've had to do a bit of outfitting here, trying to make this a little more decent. We have a railway terminus. This is the orange terracotta line versus the yellow one. Orange terracotta line. And, oh yes, so this is the town of Cerro Gordo, and you can notice there's 2 of them here. If you take this one, it takes you to 3 more little towns. Well, 2. You got Cerro Lama and Cerro Poco. And then there's also the orange mine, which is pretty neat. We have storage stuff and signs to help you know what they are. More ovens. I think this is a pretty neat little area. Obviously put some design and effort into it using our available resources of diorite, granite, and anthracite. There is a huge pole I built of some kind, some sort of beacon thing. Lots of deep snow and a big fancy bridge for my rail lines to go down. Yeah, apparently it snows here all the time. Fortunately, it doesn't clog the rail lines. This automatic snow cleaning stuff. We're going to come back here one day, so I'm not going to go down this little line that takes you there. We will save that for another time. If you take this line, it is a very special, interesting, and long rail line that is not in the sky. It travels the ground. No matter where the ground is, it goes way up in the mountains and way down to the sea, over and over, and leads to a very special place that we will find out about later and get to later. There was some idea and contemplation. Look at that. I've already laid out the brickwork for who knows how far. I wonder how far that goes. For the extension of this line, that's very interesting. I'll have to think about what I might want to do with that, because I've started another project that sort of supersedes that idea. And of course, there is a cow's rear end right there in the door to welcome you into that home in Cerro Gordo. We're going to move on. The yellow terracotta line. Look at this. I mean, why does the game do that to itself? I don't know if I like it. Don't think I do. There goes my orange terracotta line bridge. I can't quite remember what that's supposed to designate, but it's not very far. You might even be able to see it. It's suddenly rendering oddly well. Shouldn't mention it because it'll stop doing it. But there's an orange terracotta mine down there, and those other couple little villages. I don't expect you'll be able to see them, but they're there, and we'll visit them at some point in the future as we trundle along our relentless line to the south. When 76 is nothing, it's almost not worth making a separate stop for it. And just what is this town that we speak of? I don't even see anything. Here is the railway. Stop is open. Is that it? It must be. I think there's a settlement down there. Can't really see it. Maybe because it's dark. Maybe because it won't render. Maybe because of both. But look, here's yet another thing. I gotta stop here again. You gonna go all the way? Yoom. So here we go. Now we're in Davis Dell. 436. I don't know what that thing was up there. This seems like the town. Wait, if we go back. Darby Landing 291. Well, these numbers aren't jiving at all right now. I have to reconfigure the math. I don't know what's going on here. Look at that. A sign for Woodland Mansion. Only 14,500 blocks away. From here, despite all that writing. Nearly 10,000 blocks. It's ludicrous. It's not fair. Why is it so much? Okay, so 436 to Dawson Meadows and Dayton Station. You know what? I think we might want to stay here. We should break the episode. Oh, what did I do? Come back here. Alright, don't go all the way. Alright, I'll use some break. That's what it's for. Oh, no, I missed it. Come on, buddy. Come on back. Thank you. Chop it up. Put it in the inventory. Turn this back on. And just run in here. And grab some free rabbit skin. Hey, there's a person here. Someone lives here. Their bell is covered in snow. Poor guys. Look, they got the special Iceman suits. And a golem in a jungle. How do you guys live out here? Alright. There we have it. I believe this was episode 8, maybe? I'm gonna have to verify that. Make sure I know what I'm talking about. Yep, there you go. Green Line Junction. 9,500 blocks away. Alright, very cool. And we're going to break off this chapter from 5947 west, 7493 south. And see you in the next one.